Ooh, the battle of the two titans, or the two towers. Taylor and Martin. Who will capture your heart? Stay tuned. Hey, it's me, Baxter.
Hey, it's me, Jeremy the Guitar Hunter.
It's not Jonathan. He's here again.
I trimmed my beard.
You look great. You
Thank
look great,
you.
Jeremy. You look really nice.
Man, it's fun being back.
Thanks for coming back. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's like 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
But I guess we've seen each other in between then, but the last time I did the 5-hour drive early in the morning.
Nice seeing you again.
Thanks, man. Always fun.
Let's dig right into it. Taylor guitars, Martin guitars. You said something insightful while we're sitting over in our lounge over there.
Okay, I have strong opinions about this, and I've thought about this for years.
Yes, you have.
I love Martin guitars. I have an obsession with Martin guitars. I really enjoy Taylor guitars. And generally, my perspective on these two, I think that Martin guitars are convinced that the best guitars are behind us. 1934, 1937, 1941. I think that 1969 at the end of Brazilian. And I think Taylor's perspective is the best guitars are in front of us. Innovate, change things around. There are no sacred cows. Change the bracing, change the colors.
Yeah, I think that alone should be a marketing pitch for both companies. Like honestly, because it's a win for both.
Yeah.
Because like, I agree with you that I think the best guitars ever made are some of these old Martins. Like hands down. I love them. I love old Gibsons too, but not in the way that I love an old Martin. Mm-hmm. It's different. I love it, and like it's just cool. It sounds cool. It's strummy, but it's not that overtone machine of joy. But where I do love the Taylors, I like what they're trying to do. And I like that they are always sort of revolutionizing and engineering, re-engineering it. Sometimes it works wonderfully. Sometimes it doesn't.
But that's the challenge, and that's what is so exciting to me about Taylor is they try things. I think Martin tries things, and if they don't work, they quickly disappear or they hang on for a while before they go away. I mean, because think about like Martin has tried to change it up. They've added electric guitars, what, twice?
Yeah.
Into their lineup, and they did not work either time.
And that's kind of how I look at some of the major electric guitar companies trying to add acoustics. Like, hey, we want that market share. It's not because we love the brand. It's like we want this market share, and they always fail at it.
Oh man, it is such a hilarious insult to acoustic guitar players when a company comes in like, I won't say their name, but there are certain brands that keep trying to push acoustic guitars at us.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and they're like, what if they were lighter and smaller and plugged in? And what if they had an electric guitar pickup? Be like, hold on, okay, no. I like Martins. I like old acoustic guitars. But yeah, so I think there is this like history of acoustic guitars that if you're in that world, I can understand, and I'm more drawn to the history and the provenance and the way it was done. But that does get in the way sometimes.
Well, it's fun too, because like we were talking about history earlier off camera with like Taylor celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. And it's 1974, and that seems not that long ago when we compare it to Martin. But then we look at the Stratocaster 1954, 20 years prior to the launch of Taylor. 65, the year that it was sold to CBS, Fender. And then so 9 years later, Taylor Guitars was formed. So it's all in the same bubble of the most classic, iconic electric guitar. And then launches Taylor, one of the most popular selling acoustic guitars in the world. It's a weird thing, but then that might connect more, because I look at Taylor almost as the acoustic guitar for those who play electric guitar, wanting to get into the acoustic guitar.
Absolutely. I think to me, usually Taylor to me is kind of the funny, like it is the guitar that a punk rock band is going to use when they do an unplugged album. Like,
it would have been like Alvarez back in the 90s, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, they are so clear and bright. They used to have inch and 11/16 nut widths. A lot of them have inch and 3/4.
They're all 3/4 now.
Okay. But like, they definitely feel more like an electric guitar, and the ES system. Like, I can understand as an electric player why it would be so appealing to you.
No, because like I guess I'm both. I'm a hybrid of two, because I love acoustics, I love electrics, but I don't dislike the ES2 system at all. And I know a lot of folks despise it.
Yeah, I don't really have a horse in the race, other than I don't like committing to anyone's proprietary pickup system, because I like changing pickups and preamps. And...
You know, I don't like doing that.
Oh, really?
So I'm more like I want to fire and forget and be done with it and play.
Oh, because they just
much more
change.
Like Apple versus PC.
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought about it in that way, because pickups just change so much. Like quacky piezo transducer pickups under the saddle have sounded so bad, and to have any other option, I've always wanted to do that. And
here's a fun fact about Taylor you might not know. So they have the ES2, but it's always changing. They don't tell us.
Okay.
So like ES2 from 2 years ago is not the ES2 today.
ES 2.1.
They don't they just keep tweaking it.
Yeah.
And it keeps getting better or worse depending on your ear, because sometimes things don't get better, like as they tweak. You know, and I'm curious about Martin's forward-thinking guitars, like the SC13 they came out with. Now they have the SC20. 28E that's coming out.
That's a huge jump. It shows that the SC13 was received. People liked it. People bought it, and now they're gonna. I mean, to Martin guitar players, if they are anything, they are nostalgic and they are sentimental. And so to put a 28, put SC and 28 together is fighting words.
I don't think they're not going after the classic Martin player.
Yeah.
They're going after the new Martin player too, and they want that guy that plays electric guitar that wants something. Because we get people that come in and that are electric players and play those SCs, and they're like, this is the greatest acoustic I've ever played. I'm like, man, that's cool to hear that that's what you connect with.
Yeah. I love that. And so I think for Martin, in their recent, they've really tried to gain the modern guitar player, to get into the worship guitar players. You know, a while ago they were doing the Grand Performance, the Performing Artists. Sorry, the Grand.
I mean, the Road Series has been around forever, it feels like, and there's always something new.
But then they had that, like, the GCP4A, like, the really long names.
Which I hate the names when they do that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Martin design teams, if you're watching this at all, I can't stand those names.
It's like, yeah, sometimes I feel like
Gretsch.
I feel like Rain Man a bit, where I'm like, I just see all the numbers in front of me and I can figure out, like, oh, it's a dreadnought with a cutaway and a Sitka spruce top.
When you said Rayman, I was thinking about Al Pacino. I know it's Robert, it's not, Dustin Hoffman, but I was thinking about Al Pacino at the Oscars the other night. It kind of reminded me of Rayman. It was not a good, it was.
Yeah. Oppenheimer.
Oh, you watched it too?
I did, yeah.
Oh my God, now I know who else watches the Oscars. That's us too.
Yeah, okay, so, but I think Martin has been trying to gain, like, the modern guitar player back, but Taylor, even though they started in '74, they have always been this just, like, comet. They're throwing off designs and they're pushing, and, like, the thing that is emerging from the center of them is the newest, best, clearest, you know, most reliable sounding acoustic guitar.
Right.
And but if you jump in at any point, you're gonna.
Well, they even took the entire historic bracing pattern and threw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna do this thing called V-class bracing. We don't know if it's gonna, like, be taken on the mainstream, but we have such a huge market share, it will be taken onto the mainstream.
It's a gamble.
But it worked.
Yeah.
But, you know, the verdict is still out. Like, do you like V-brace? Do you dislike it? Do you like X bracing? Like, it's hard to deny, you know, X bracing's history too.
I have owned an American Dream, an AD-17, one of the black tops, and it had V-class bracing. I'm not a huge Martin guy, and that was my favorite Martin guitar I've owned. I've had a 714.
Your favorite Taylor, yeah.
Oh, what did I say? Whoops.
Just to correct those who are confused now.
That's my favorite Taylor I've ever owned was the AD-17 with the V-class bracing. I thought it was really clear. It made me play a different kind of music. It made me play 90s alternative. That's what my ears heard and my hands wanted to play.
Because I remember, like, the Grand Pacific, that was like when the Builder's Edition, the 717 and the 517, when Andy Powers, who became the head of Taylor Guitars, launched that. That was his sort of first flagship My Guitar launch. And as we were saying earlier on the couch, it was like the organ sound, and he was trying to get the sound of the vintage recordings, not the vintage guitar. If that makes sense.
Interesting.
Well, Andy also talks in myths and hieroglyphics and legends, and we don't know what he's saying half the time because he's that smart, apparently. Andy Powers.
He's done amazing things. Reworking the 5 Series a couple years ago, reworking Maple, because one of the constant things in the guitar world is, can you get woods that are reliable?
Yeah, that's the 6 Series for Maple. Yeah.
6 Series.
5 was mahogany, now it's ironbark.
Oh, what?
Yeah, things keep changing.
Okay.
Don't worry.
That's the thing. Every time I feel like I understand what the 3 numbers mean in Taylor world, it
700
changes.
is now Koa.
What?
I know. I just wanted to give you that too. It's and then they're going to change again, and then they have their own amp out now too. You know.
Yes, I saw that. Which sounds.
It sounds good.
Exciting.
We have a few more coming in. We've sold all the ones we have out, and we have a few more. We have Taylor's 50th anniversary party coming to our shop, April 17th.
Yeah,
I think so.
So it's interesting. What, a year or two ago, Breedlove had their 25th or 30th anniversary, and they're an ultimately modern guitar, and they were doing reissues, and it's an interesting reworking of the history when you get a reissue of a modern guitar company, and I think that's exciting with Taylor and reissues.
Well, I have a Breedlove Revival Series Brazilian Rosewood slotted headstock.
Ooh.
That I've had. I got it in an auction years ago. It sounds great. Great guitar. It was sort of like a Jeff Tweedy type style, or like I think a Jeff Tweedy. I think it was Wilco. I can't remember now. I think it was. That's funny because we were just looking at a Jeff Tweedy guitar in Asheville that we almost bought, but we didn't because we're stupid. Whatever. Long story.
But Breedlove, side note, is just their designs have been so bipolar, or like such an identity crisis. Because they have stopped doing all of my favorite things, which was the absurdity. I loved Myrtlewood, I loved the wing bridge, I love the crazy headstock, I love all of the silliness.
Because they can do that, whereas like if Martin does it, it's a little bit, we're not ready for it.
Yeah, but then they did what the Cascade series was it called, where they did like pyramid bridges and slot headstocks and 12 fret 30 style Martin guitars. And so, yeah, I think wherever you are, you get you get stuck in a lane. I think with Martin being 191 years old now.
Well, they have that customer that will always, and we would love it at Merlefest. It happens once a year. Somebody will walk by our Taylor booth and their quote is, "I would never."
I would never.
It's always, and we love it. And I like that. It's sort of charming. It's almost like, well, South will rise again.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, it's a neat little thing, and I get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
But I like both. Where do you see Taylor going in the future? To the moon?
Yeah. I mean, Taylor, they are bright, clean, beautiful looking guitars. I see a place for them. Most people that are just coming into guitar playing, like the GS Mini has conquered the world.
It's the greatest guitar known to man, I think.
I
always have one with me every day.
I'm torn on the 214 Deluxe. I think it's a lot of money for the guitar. It's very pretty.
I think the 214 CE Plus is amazing.
Okay.
I like that better than the Deluxe.
Yeah.
That's just my own personal. It doesn't come with a hard case. Doesn't have the gold tuners, but it's a full gloss 200 series with the Aero case and the ES2.
Yeah.
I think that's and it sort of sells at that 12.
Oh man.
13, 12
okay.
range.
I thought they were more expensive than that.
Yeah, that's the Plus. The Deluxe is like a couple $100 more.
Okay.
And it's kind of the same guitar.
Yeah.
But you're paying for a different case, I think.
Mm-hmm. It does when you're trying to figure out which of those guitars you would jump into. I think most people, if they're looking, because Taylor does such a more prolific job marketing and presenting, and they get cool musicians playing their instruments more often. And that bothers. I mean, like Post Malone played a HD 28 at the Super Bowl this year. Like there are lots of people playing Martins, but young, cool female guitar players almost always are playing Taylors.
You think so?
In my anecdotal observations of the world.
Yeah, I don't get out of my cave very often, so I'm like, I don't know. So you guys have to help us with the comments.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. But wait, you have a YouTube channel too.
I do.
Tell us about it.
So it's called Jeremy the Guitar Hunter. I chase down old guitars, I do guitar reviews, and I just bring opinions and try to build a community around music and friendship and what guitars do to you in your life and to the people that you care about. If
you haven't been watching the channel long and you just popped on, I sort of discovered Jeremy years ago with one of your things on Reverb when you were quitting Reverb, for a bit. Then you're back on it maybe a little bit.
Well, I'm dipping my toe.
Maybe
took a 6-year gap.
That's a long time. That's how long ago. That's when I first saw your thing. How long's your channel been out?
2017 I started.
Okay.
So I was buying vintage guitars. I was living in New Orleans, and I was like, I'll bring a camera with me and I'll buy a 60s OM28, see what happens.
And you like guitars a lot.
I love guitars.
Do you like people?
I really love people.
Okay, you do that. That's I meet a lot of people that like guitars as much as you do that don't like people.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious.
That's where I'm, because my channel, the phrase is go fill the world with music and friendship. And to me, I'm like, I love guitars because of what they do in people and what they do to people.
See, that's also all you single ladies out there. If you're looking for a guy that has nothing to tie him down, no kids, this guy's your guy.
No. I'm married. I've got 3 kids.
I know that.
But fine, man. My wife fell in love with me because I showed up with a guitar at a campfire. I'm one of the few people that strategy worked.
And your wife is way more attractive than you are.
Oh, just
so you're an okay guitar player, but not good enough to acquire that level of wife.
No,
so it's just the bare minimum of guitar playing gets you a better looking girl. Mm-hmm. So let us know seriously your thoughts out there on this journey of where Martin and Taylor are going. Do you think the best guitars are behind us, or maybe the best guitars ahead of us? It's exciting, and I think it's a hybrid of the both.
Yeah, and there gets to be room for both. I've owned both of these guitars, and I love both of them.
This is something else I love about Martin. Really, because I own a lot of Martins. I love that they in 2015, 16, when they did the reimagined series of their standard series,
2012, 2017, 19.
it transformed everything. It, like the whole, like when they forward shifted the bracing, gave it more toner, open geared tuners. It just, in 1 3/4 nut width, it made it a more playable, accessible guitar and pretty, and it's fun. And I love that they're willing to listen to those small changes, but keeping the normal formula. The porridge hasn't changed.
The D18 in 2012 was reimagined, and it's the best it's ever been. 2017 was the D18. 2018 was the 41 and 42, and the 35 was in there.
The reason I was like 15 this year is like that's when I think I was right around 15 or 16 when Martin had me come up there. I was in this room with it doesn't make any sense. It was with George Gruen, I think Music Villa was there, Tobias, and these other big heavy hitter shops.
Yeah.
And then we were just sort of the new kids, and then because we were sort of like obnoxious, like we want to get your. They asked for all of our opinions, and we all sort of said that, and they changed everything.
That's amazing.
They listened, which a lot of companies don't do that. Like these major manufacturers are like, they're like, you know, they're like big freighters. They can't turn easily. But Martin pivoted pretty quickly, and they changed their whole production schedule on the advice of some of their top dealers.
Yeah, when you look at the schedule, like so to me, Martin's, I jumped in the late 90s, early 2000s when I started caring about them, and they were kind of in the dorky dad phase. Big stickers on the back, big clunky tuners, the gold foil headstock logos. Yeah. They just weren't that cool looking. And then I think in 2012, you could get the golden eras and other ones that were cooler and fancier, but they were so expensive. And then when the D18, and it was the same price. I don't think the price went up when they reimagined it. So all of a sudden you're like,
they just made it better.
Ebony, aging toner, silkscreen logo, 1 3/4 nut width. Amazing. They're so good.
I think he likes Martins a lot.
I do. I just bought a D18 Authentic.
You need therapy. We have a D18 Authentic aged in the other
Well,
room.
that's what I have as well.
An aged one?
Yeah, I want to compare it to mine.
You're obviously going to think yours is better. That's what everyone does. It's like a buyer.
When you spend that much money, you kind of have to
mine's so much better than this one.
It's the best one in the history of the ones.
Well, let us know what you think again. Behind us, ahead of us, in the middle, or are we just screwed in general? Who knows? It's an election year. Who knows what's going to happen? Click like, subscribe, hit the bell. And Jeremy, thanks for coming and joining us again.
Yeah, thanks for having me, buddy.
Don't touch my leg ever again. It's weird.